Bachmann's priorities are God first, her husband second, her children are next, and then the work she's been called into. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome Congresswoman Michele Bachmann.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful rally and a part of the niche conference that's going on here in Iowa. I come to you, first of all, as an Iowan. I was born here in Waterloo, Iowa, back in 1956, and I'm a 7th generation Iowan. Our family dates back to the time of the pioneers in the 1850s, literally felling the trees and opening up the ground in northeast Iowa. What I love about Iowans is that we're fighters. We're fighters. We don't take no for an answer. When judges thwart our will, what do? We send them packing. And I thank God for Iowa that made a shot across the bow that told the rest of the country, if you have judges that thwart the will of the people, it's sayonara. We've got our own ideas. Thank you, Iowa, for what you have done to uphold our Constitution. You believe in our Constitution. You believe in the principles of the Declaration of Independence. You believe in the Bill of Rights. And what you understand is that there are separate jurisdictions. The government has a jurisdiction. We all understand that, a level of authority. But the family also has a level of authority that the government may not trample upon. I say that as a fellow homeschooler. My husband and I also homeschooled our children for a number of years. We have our 5 biological children. We had our 23 foster children. One of our foster daughters asked me, Mom, would you homeschool me too? Because we were homeschooling our biological children. We talked to the state about that and they said no. The state would only allow one option for our foster children, and it did not allow homeschooling. We need to make sure that families enjoy their untrampled right to their level of jurisdiction without state interference.
Amen.
Let me also bring up one other area of jurisdiction. Today we're celebrating an anniversary. The 1-year anniversary of the passage of the government takeover of health care. We agree on much more than what we thought, don't we? I want to thank you for having the good common Iowa sense to send Congressman Steve King to Washington, D.C. to help lead that effort to overcome Obamacare in our midst.
Yes.
The interesting thing about Obamacare is that Speaker Nancy Pelosi famously said we have to pass the bill to know what's in it. She was right. The more we know, the less we like this bill. So the last approval rating that came out last week from Rasmussen said that 62% of Americans, not 62% of homeschoolers or conservatives or Republicans, we're talking Democrats, independents. The more America sees about this bill, the less they like it. What part of freedom don't they understand? That's at essence what homeschooling is about.
That's right.
It's about freedom.
Yes.
It's about liberty.
Yes.
It's about knowing our children better than the state knows our children, and acting in the best interests of our children. There's also an issue that's coming up now here in the Iowa legislature, and it's dealing with parents being able to teach other people's children. Are you familiar with that effort? I was a part of starting the very first homeschool co-op in our community in Minnesota, and we had a co-op where we also got together and we taught each other's children. Why not? Why not? If you have the expertise and you have the ability, why not be allowed to do that? We also have a counterpart to Nish up in Minnesota called Michele. Minnesota Association of Christian Home Educators. We were delighted to be a part of Michele. I have spoken at Michele conferences over the years, and as a matter of fact, we are not newcomers to homeschooling. My husband and I have been married, it'll be 33 years this year, and when we first found out about homeschooling when we were newlyweds many years ago, and the more we learned about it, the more we thought this was the course that we wanted to set our family on. Now, over the years, we found ourselves eventually with so many children. I literally am the old woman who lives in the shoe with our 23 foster children and our 5 biological children. And when we got to the point where we had 4 teenagers that were foster children, and I had 3 preschoolers, one of whom was a nursing baby, that even was too much to me. I wasn't as profound as all of you are, and at that point we put our children in a local Christian school. And the marvelous thing is, we need to be about choice, because we need to allow people to do what's best for their children. If they want to have their children in a private school, if you want to have your children homeschooled, if you think your children would do better in the public school, it's up to you to decide. It is not up to a bureaucrat to decide what is best for your children. I am so tired of the establishment telling us that they know best. We know best. The establishment does not know best. Back in 2003, again, we saw judges continually try to usurp their will for that of the people. We saw that in Massachusetts with the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court on marriage. When the courts told the legislature, you must pass a law in conformity with our will. These are black-robed masters who are trying to impose their morality not only on a legislature, but what they mean to do vicariously is impose their will on all of us. Is that right? We're seeing this over and over again, where the people put pressure on their elected representatives. Their elected representatives, represented by this building behind us, put your will into effect, and then a judge comes along and eviscerates it. How is that a constitutional republic when a judge thinks that they trump the will of the legislature? That is wrong. That is not to be tolerated in our nation, and that continues to go on. When that happened, for instance, in Massachusetts, I was then a state senator in Minnesota. I decided to introduce a constitutional amendment in Minnesota to allow the people of Minnesota to define what marriage is as one man, one woman. That is up to the people to make that decision. My husband and I have always been committed. We've been committed to the pro-life cause. Very early on, we were involved, even before we got married, in the pro-life cause. We have taken unwed women into our home. We have counseled them. I have held unmarried women's hands as I've gone in with them as they have given birth in our local hospital. We are committed to life. Life is a beautiful choice because every human being is made in the image and likeness of a holy God. We can never forget the value and the worth of each individual. There are fundamentals that cannot be ignored in our nation. John Adams said that our Constitution is made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly unsuitable to any other. And one thing that we recognized in America is that we do tolerate each other's beliefs. That has been a foundational value. But at the same time, our founders recognized that a nation that is built on immutable principles is a nation built on a strong foundation. And that foundation has endured for over 234 years. Our nation has endured because, like this building that you're looking at behind me, it is built on a strong foundation. We will remain strong as long as the foundation is sure. And as the foundation crumbles, if we allow the foundation to crumble, the building cannot stand. But I know that I am standing with fighting Iowans today who will not tolerate the strong foundation here in your state to crumble. A foundation that is built on respect for our founding documents, built on respect for the family, for our sacred institutions, and for the values that made us strong. And so I look forward to meeting with you today at the Embassy Suites, where we can talk further about the issues that are of importance to us. But we must remember one thing as we gather here today. We must never, ever, ever leave the foundations that have given us the principles of our liberty. And those are the principles contained in our Declaration of Independence. That we were made by a creator. Our rights were given to us by a creator, not by government. As much as we appreciate our elected officials, they did not give us our rights, nor can they take them away. Our inalienable rights, our right to life, to liberty, to the pursuit of happiness, and the pursuit of happiness meant the right to enjoy the fruits of our labor. That's what it meant. It wasn't a license for hedonism. It was the rights to enjoy the fruit of our labor. Those are the inalienable rights. Those are the rights government can't give, nor can they take away. In fact, there is only one reason and purpose that government has, according to the Declaration. Thomas Jefferson said, we instituted governments to secure inalienable rights. So when government violates your rights, your inalienable rights, that's an illegitimate use of government. You are here standing today to demand your legitimate rights as free men and free women. And I join you as a free woman saying, stand tall, you're an Iowan, remember that, fight always, and we will see liberty yet in our day. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you later today. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America.
All right. We'll stick around just a little bit longer because we've got one more fantastic speaker up here. Next, I'd like to introduce Congressman Ron Paul. He and his wife Carol have been married for 53 years. They have 5 children.